So I was asked, well, when's your next video coming out? So I haven't made any for a while. Been at least a couple of weeks. Time just goes by, you know. But as well, there's also the hardest part of making a video is actually pressing the record button and forgetting about the fact that people might watch this. So, but I'll do another video on that specifically. I think that's something that's worth actually sort of scripting out rather than just talking off the cuff. YouTube doesn't like people mentioning the word COVID at the moment. I'm going to anyway, because it's more for channels that are monetized. They want to review things and make sure that nobody's spreading fake news. I'm not about that, and well, not yet. It's very unlikely that my channel will ever become monetized anyway. I think you have to have at least 10,000 subscribers. I have a total of 11. Hey, thanks guys, it's awesome. People subscribe. It means somebody actually interested in watching this. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble a bit, but so the whole thing about this lockdown, if you're in New Zealand you already know, but if you're not, we're now at level 2, which is almost back to normal, but there are some restrictions, like no more than 100 people gathering in a building at a time, and no more than, that's for an event, and no more than 10 if you're having a party at home, something like that. It doesn't really affect me all that much anyway. So there was good, bad and ugly during this whole lockdown thing. So the bad stuff, like about 5 days before the lockdown, as many of you already know, I lost my cat, which she was died suddenly in an accident, and that was pretty sad because I'd spent a couple of years, you know, getting to be friends with her, and she was enjoying you know, just being a good companion. And you know, it's only 6 months since my elderly cat died, so it was a bit of a sucky thing. But the more important thing, of course, is the human aspect. Well, more important to us. So the first 2 or 3 weeks, I think, of a lockdown, it was a bit, I don't know what the right word is for it, but I'll just say I wasn't too pleased, because, well, not too happy. I had some family members who were on the other side of the world, and they'd gone there before this whole thing broke out. So for a time we didn't know when they were coming back, if they were coming back, because the worldwide, you know, the international air traffic and even domestic flights in different countries, everything was in a bit of a mess. And an elderly family member of mine was moved into a rest home during this whole thing, and this is not in New Zealand though. And shortly after moving into the rest home, one of the nurses who worked there tested positive for COVID, and then some of the residents or patients, I'm not sure what the correct term is, but yeah, I had a elderly family member there who caught COVID and died about a week later. So I guess that's the saddest part of the whole thing. The good part is, well, it's not something good that's come out of it, it's just, you know, we're just so lucky to live in New Zealand, I guess, is really what it comes down to. You know, I don't know why I think these things, but the other day when I got out of bed and went to the kitchen, and you know, I filled up the jug from the sink, and as I was filling it up, you know, I don't know if I was in a particularly bad mood or had a headache or whatever, it doesn't matter, but as I was filling up the jug, you know, I thought in some countries they have to walk a couple of hours just to go fetch water from a well, and just turn on a tap. and the water might kill them is the other thing in a lot of places due to, usually it's due to industrial pollution, but sometimes just natural stuff, and if the water's been stagnant, so sometimes they have to boil the water anyway. And then in places where you have to fetch your own water, you might not have electricity either, so boiling it's a bit of a mission. You have to have your wood, you have to have a fire and a kettle and blah 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 blah. So yeah, in the Western world that's something that we just take for granted. We don't even think about it and until the power goes off, but even that doesn't happen very often. And a lot of people around the world don't have jobs at the moment. They've lost whole families in some countries. We can't imagine what that's like unless we've experienced some of the things ourselves. And can you hear that bird? It's just a distraction while I remember what I was talking about. Yeah, so it's in New Zealand. It's just we've got so much that we take for granted, and we've been very lucky. I don't normally say nice things about governments, but I think they've. I'm glad they did what they did and acted soon enough that things could have been just so much worse here, and really we've got off pretty lightly. As long as people aren't fuckwits, and we know a lot of them are. I don't want to say too much about that. I think anyone watching this knows what I'm talking about. All over the country, people. Yeah, and then there's people that say, well, actually, it's not that big a deal. Get over it. Who knows? Let's not argue that. There goes a car. And so where I was going with all this is that I still have a job. A lot of people in the world don't. Where I work has pretty much bent over backwards to make it possible for staff to continue doing what they're doing and getting paid, which again I'm very lucky to have that, because a lot of people don't have that. They're worried about money, food, all the usual things. And the ugly, I'll call it, just because I can say the good, the bad and the ugly if I do that, is the difference between level 4 and level 3. Now, I've lived about first half of my life in the country, and the second half in a town, small city, but it's really just a big town. I hope I don't get hate mail for that. Having trouble remembering this morning. I haven't had breakfast yet. I've had half a cup of coffee, and that's not enough. Anyway, I'll stop rambling, it goes on too long. So I've never really got quite used to the sound of a city. I mean, I have got used to it, but I still notice it. And where I live is quite a busy area, so you do hear a lot of traffic here. You'll have heard a few cars going by as I'm talking. But that's Sunday morning traffic. You can imagine what a weekday is like. And one thing I did notice during level 4 is just how quiet it was. It was quite, really noticeable, and I really liked it as well. It was actually had a bit of a slight calming effect. And as soon as we moved back down to level 3, straight away you just noticed the noise just started up again, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. I mean, life goes on, but I'm just saying it was, and now we're at level 2, and everything's pretty much back to normal, whether it's supposed to be or not. And so that's really all I've got to say about this whole thing. No, we don't know what the future's got in store for us. There could be another wave in the future. A lot of people in the know suggest that that's possible. I'm not going to make any predictions, because really I don't know, and most people who do say stuff don't really know either. But so well, stay safe.